Hello, this is Dan Farisi, Editor-in-Chief with Commercial Integrator. So happy to be joined today at the HD Base T booth by Andrew Gross of Xyte. Really nice to see you again, Andrew.
Thanks, Dan. Happy to be here.
So a lot of what we're talking about today is kind of like the future of the industry, where things are going. I know Xyte is kind of at the vanguard of that because you're big believers in the as a service, as a subscription kind of approach. We think about Apple Music, Netflix, Word, all these things are subscriptions these days. I think there's been some hesitance over the years to go to a hardware as a subscription or embracing that in the AV industry. Why do you think there's been some reluctance, and how is Xyte kind of educating people to move beyond that reluctance?
Well, I'll add even to your list, right? It's Tesla and it's Apple iPhone. And the reason why I add those two specifically is because I think those are two brands that everyone in the world recognizes as premium brands. Mm-hmm. They make great hardware. And when I look at this industry, I mean, this industry makes incredible hardware. There's amazing hardware manufacturers all around. And what we're looking to do at Xyte is be able to empower those hardware manufacturing brands to do exactly what Tesla and Apple do. Mm-hmm. And that is take that great piece of hardware, offer it as a service, meaning when I buy it day one, it only gets better on day two and day 302, mm-hmm. but also add more value to the customer, add more value to the person that's buying that piece of hardware, mm-hmm. meaning why should I just buy something that isn't going to continually get better, that I have to now buy another piece of hardware to replace it? Or why do I have to now be able to go to the product itself to take control and monitor and manage it when I should just be able to do that in the cloud? Mm-hmm. It's what Tesla and Apple have done, and it's what this industry certainly needs to do to move forward. And to answer your question of maybe why this industry hasn't done it yet, honestly, I think it's because there's someone like us, someone that's dedicated to empowering these manufacturers to do so, hasn't been around. Mm-hmm. It's not an easy task to just change what you do from making hardware to then making hardware as a service and software, and we're here to help those manufacturers.
Right. And now Commercial Integrator is there to help the integration market. We view ourselves as the handbook for technology professionals, in particular integrators. What is the value proposition as Xyte would convey it to the integration channel? What should they know about Xyte, and why should they say, well, if I want to embrace hardware as a service, Xyte is where I should look?
Yeah, so there's a couple reasons. The first one, of course, is kind of what we just talked about, is going to the hardware manufacturer that you love and enjoy, and you love their product, but now they're offering you as a system integrator the ability to go to their cloud-based monitoring and management portal and their cloud-based as-a-service subscription portal. So we're going to help empower those manufacturers to then, in turn, empower the channel community to do so. The other big thing, too, is actually a separate side of our business is, you know, all of those manufacturers that are developing with Xyte to set off on this path as an as-a-service subscription model in the future, what they're also getting with being a partner of us is the ability to have those products all monitored and managed together in a single pane of glass. It's a product we call Workplace by Xyte. And the channel community out there, the dealer community, the managed service provider community, the system integrator community, they can come to Xyte and buy a license to be able to now resell to end customers that offer management and monitoring services on that single pane of glass. Mm-hmm. But the most important part about that, Dan, is that they can now take that license and be able to wrap managed services around it. Because that's what's going to drive that community forward, is not just moving boxes from point A to point B, but taking that same box that you've moved to point B and making sure it's always working and always up to date and always online for your customer. That's going to add true value.
I couldn't agree more. I think that is the recipe to battle back against commoditization, and commoditization, I think, has been the bane of our collective existence for a long time, and I think that is the path to go. I would be remiss not to at least ask a bit about Xyte's relationship with HD Base T. We are here at the HD Base T booth. Can you provide any insight on that?
Yeah, so HD Base T actually is one of our first partners within the Xyte ecosystem, which was fantastic. And so being here, and we even have a little section here at the InfoComm show that showcases the Xyte platform. We have a couple different segments of partnership with the HD Base T Alliance. Of course, one of them being a contributing, supporting member of the Alliance to move that alliance forward. But one of the big things on why we're part of the HD Base T Alliance as a software company is kind of just back to what we were talking about, is all of these different hardware manufacturers coming together to provide a singular solution, a unified solution to the customer, is something that we can help them do via software. The other very tactical part of our partnership as well is that partnership with Valence. And part of the Valence chip that is part of the HD-Base-T connectivity actually comes with a base set level of connectivity and control into the Xyte platform. So there's the tactical, on-the-ground level of Valence chipset control and management and monitoring directly in any HD-Base-T supported manufacturer in our cloud, but also the overall, push and pull of an alliance to take this diversification that we've seen of technology in the workspace and bring it together more holistically on a single pane of glass for people to take control of their real estate.
Well, every time we chat, Andrew, I feel like I've learned something. So thank you so much for taking the time. I appreciate the investment here at InfoComm to be here with me for this conversation.
Thanks, Dan. Always a pleasure.
Thank you again to Andrew Gross of Xyte for joining me. My name is Dan Farisi, Editor-in-Chief with Commercial Integrator here at the HD-Base-T booth, Day 1 InfoComm 2022. Thanks so much.